I'm Matt Bishard with REIT.com, and I'm here in Dallas, Texas for NAREIT's Leader in the Light Working Forum. Joining me today is Jeff Bedell, Vice President of Sustainability with Macerich. Jeff, let's start by talking a little bit about the evolution that Macerich has gone through in terms of its sustainability efforts.
Sure. Well, for Macerich, it started very much with a focus on energy and energy management, which is where I started with the company. And the interesting thing is it became a discussion around all the energy aspects of what we were doing, and it then became this growing concept of the word green kept coming up, the word sustainability kept coming up, and it's like, well, what are we really doing here? And it caused us to start asking the questions and having those discussions with our executive teams and our department teams and saying, you know, are we really being sustainable, or are we really just doing good energy practices? And in the evolution of that question and going through that, we were doing a really good job with energy and we were doing some great things, but we also found that, well, we want to be a great sustainable company, not just energy. So that was kind of the outgrowth of putting together a full corporate plan, going out broadly again to do sustainability in a lot of areas. In some areas we were already doing it, but we weren't necessarily tracking it or monitoring it or viewing it as a sustainable practice. So it's kind of just grown from there, and it's become a cultural thing for Macerich and a broad part of what we do on a day-to-day basis. So it's become bigger and better and bolder and all those things. So it's been a good growing area for us.
Right. And that leads to now the company produces a sustainability report and,
yes,
and publishes it on your website. Do you think more companies will kind of be moving in that direction in terms of being more transparent?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, it's been a bit, that also has been a bit of an evolution for us. We started out being kind of quiet and kind of wanting to do the right things and doing all that for the right reasons and not wanting to publish it, and just we tracked and we monitored and verified and did all that. But we kind of got to that point where with investor pressure and questions from, you know, even simply from our board of directors and tenants and others, other stakeholders, they wanted to know. And they wanted to know what we were doing, and we had all these great programs and doing all these great things. So it was just kind of a natural evolution. We kind of started with, all right, let's put out our own report. We should put this out there for those that want it and want to see it. And now we're even evolving into some other areas where, with some of the public disclosures and things like that, that we'll be starting to do those kind of things too. And yeah, I think there's going to be more and more pressure for companies to do that. I think investors are starting to ask more and more, and they're not just asking the big guys.
And you mentioned kind of this all started with the desire to wanting to do the right thing and be a socially responsible company. But of course there's the other side of it, and there's the bottom line that ties to this. How would you quantify how the cost savings have kind of measured up to the cost of implementation for these types of activities?
I mean, for us it's been very very direct. I mean, though we want to do the environmental, the social aspects, but the things we do, we tie to a bottom line benefit. It's just part of how we need to operate and part of our responsibilities as a publicly held company and all that. So we are very careful to track and verify that. We've had we've been doing, as a lot of companies have done, the low-hanging fruit and starting to progress into those things that are not as low-hanging fruit. And so, we've had very big success with our investment versus our ROIs. Most of the things we've been doing have, at most maybe a 4-year payback. So you're equating to, 25% ROI type of area. So we've had very great success. Our executive levels and management teams have been on board with that right from the start. So it's been a very easy, very progressive rollout, and everybody's been on board. Nobody argues too much with those kind of returns. So it's been very, very positive for us. And we've made a very substantial investment. Tens of millions of dollars have gone into these programs and what we're doing, but we're getting the return. And the bottom line operating cost savings are, of value to us as a portfolio and to our properties individually.
Jeff, thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, my pleasure.
For more on this and other REIT news and analysis, be sure to visit REIT.com.